Lane Kiffin's all the news. You got it. We've covered that significantly today. So let's step outside the Lane Kiffin bubble. What if Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss? What if he goes to Florida? LSU's still looking around, right? And the betting favorite as of yesterday, we posted this on LouisianaSports.net to land the job, which doesn't really mean anything, but it's a talking point. Was Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State. I'll be candid, like, I know of Kenny Dillingham. I know what he sounds like. I know that he was in the playoff last year. I haven't dug much beyond that, but I understand that he is a hot name. I understand he's done a good job at Arizona State, and I think that it makes some sense to think that LSU would have him on the list if Lane Kiffin falls through. What's interesting is that today there's a report from On3, Pete Nakos, as well as Steve Wiltfong, reported that Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt is actively shopping. Let's see, what is it? Learned that the camp of Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt is actively shopping the talented passer, quote unquote, at a high level to other programs with the plan of entering the transfer portal when the window opens on January 2nd. Now, there have been conflicting reports on this. Some have said he could command a deal with an annual compensation exceeding $2 million if he enters the portal. Leavitt's potential move is to test the market and not a sign that there's any rift between the quarterback and head coach Kenny Dillingham, said a second program source said. Leavitt's been at Arizona State for 2 seasons for Dillingham. He was the 2024 freshman newcomer of the year in the Big 12. Led Arizona State into the playoff. In 7 games this year, he's thrown for 1,628 yards and 10 touchdowns with 3 interceptions, 300 rushing yards, 5 touchdown runs. The one game that jumped out to me as I was looking at the game logs from Sam Leavitt was against Texas Tech, who's really got a good defense. 28 of 47 for 319 yards and a touchdown in that game. He has been impressive this year and is a proven talented passer. Now, if LSU were to get Kenny Dillingham, would Sam Leavitt follow? That's the kind of thing that makes some sense in this day and age in college football, of where you've got free agency in coaching, you got free agency in playing as well. And you feel like, based on the two working together the last 2 years, that could be a possibility. Now, I don't say that to immediately oust Michael Van Buren as LSU's starting quarterback. What I'll tell you is that right now, as I sit here in this chair on November the 18th of 2025, Garrett Nussmeier is out of eligibility in like a month and a half. Colin Hurley is not with the team. Michael Van Buren's the only scholarship quarterback you have. And so, yeah, he might be on the team next year, but he might not. Either way, you got serious issues at quarterback for the 2026 LSU football team, because there's not, I mean, you don't have one committed in this class. You don't have a backup that's a scholarship player on the roster. Like, Juwan Johnson is not a quarterback. And you've got Emil Picarella, a walk-on who's a freshman, who the coach is talking about yesterday is a guy that they feel like could come in and finish a game. But I don't know if that's somebody that you're counting on as a key piece to your future at the quarterback position. All this being said, like, you need a quarterback in the portal or 2. Depending on what Michael Van Buren does, depending on whether or not you can get a freshman in this class, like, your numbers at quarterback are unacceptable at this point. Now, Colin Hurley may come back. You may get a coach that can bring one in the portal. You may sign a high schooler. Like, there are avenues to make this work for LSU at quarterback. But a quarterback that's led his team to the playoff previously, that's been a conference newcomer of the year, that has experience with a coach that you potentially may court, that sounds to me like something that LSU might rather be interested in. A lot of dominoes have to fall at that point. Like, Lane Kiffin found a freaking quarterback at Ferris State, okay? So if you bring him in, I think you got a pretty good chance of finding a quarterback. I was writing for LouisianaSports.net over today, and like, Trinidad Chambliss winning, Jackson Dart winning, go back to Matt Corral, won. Like, Kiffin is kind of one with whoever they threw up there in Oxford, and none of them have been Heisman winners or the first pick in the draft or the most talented player who ever set foot in Oxford. But he's kind of won. But if you don't have Lane Kiffin, even if you do, you got to get a quarterback. But if you don't, you got to prioritize that position for next year. It's one of the things that a new coach is going to have to help with. And if you hire Kenny Dillingham and his quarterback, who, let's face it, has had a nice college go for 2 years, I'm just guessing there's a little bit more of an appetite to spend NIL and revenue sharing at LSU than there is at Arizona State. That's a guess. I don't know what Kenny Dillingham and I don't know what Sam Leavitt commands in Tempe. I don't know. But I know that there's a little bit more passion and a little bit more money, generally speaking, flying around on the Gulf Coast. So to me, I'm going to file this one away and see what happens with Lane Kiffin moving forward. And if Lane Kiffin signs that extension with Ole Miss or Lane Kiffin picks Florida and the Dillingham buzz may start to build around here, just pull this one right out and go, oh, I forgot. 1-3 reported Sam Leavitt might be jumping in the portal. That may be some sort of a package deal. Again, I want to be clear. I don't know anything definitively about this. But this is a situation that LSU is about to find itself in. I will be flatline stunned if between now and January 15th, LSU does not get an established quarterback in through the portal. Stunned. That doesn't mean Michael Van Buren's leaving. That doesn't mean I don't think Michael Van Buren can play. That doesn't mean Colin Hurley's never coming back. But it's a revolving door at that position, and you have to make sure that you're adequately stocked. Because where LSU sits right now is dangerous. Now, it's almost impossible to predict in August that your starting quarterback's going to have a year-long oblique injury and your third-team quarterback is going to leave the team. That's going to put almost anyone in a bind. Nobody's got 5 good quarterbacks hanging around, and you can't go sign one off the practice squad like the NFL can. But you've got to do what you can to load up with the talent on that room. It's why you'd love to see LSU find a way to get a high schooler in, and you're definitely going to have to go into the transfer portal and get somebody. Garrett Nussmeier is gone, and right now, Colin Hurley just hasn't been around the football team a lot. He enrolled at 16 years old. He had the car accident and missed a spring. Now he's away from the team in the fall, and we're not here to speculate on anything that's going on with him. And if it's something that's off the field, it's a personal reason, like Frank Wilson said. That's far more important than football. But you've got to address that when the roster building portion of this comes to pass, and that's coming pretty quickly. So if you're telling me that Sam Leavitt's going in the portal, and you're also telling me that if I look at the Vegas odds that Kenny Dillingham is the most likely head coach at LSU based on those betting odds, well, it stands to reason there's a reasonable chance that Sam Leavitt could end up at LSU. Long way down the road. A lot of dominoes have to fall. But again, that's where we are. I could break down the Western Kentucky Hilltopper defense if you'd like. I can talk a lot about LSU Alcorn State, or we can go on to what this LSU football program looks like moving forward, and this could be. It's a reasonable number of dots to connect to say, hey, this could happen. So we'll see. Kenny Dillingham, Sam Leavitt, package deal, Baton Rouge? Maybe. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.